What's up, guys? Steve and Clyde here from Anarchos. Really quick, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and share this with your friends. I have a lot more music coming out this year, and I can't wait to share it with you all. And hopefully this will be the first tutorial video of many. As a bedroom artist like many of you are, I know exactly how difficult it is to get set up, whether it's regarding compression or sidechaining or setting levels, you name it, I've been there. In this video, I'll be giving a tutorial of how to set up MIDI inputs to your Digitech Whammy downtune using just a USB to MIDI cable. And in fact, let me just mention how this conversation got started. So there's a great group on Facebook, I'm going to link to it in the description. It's titled Vildhjarta Thallposting. If you're a fan of Humanity's Last Breath or Vildhjarta, this is the group for you. It's just a bunch of all-around great people in there, always willing to help you with anything. And on this particular day, a guy asked, "Hey guys, is there any way to connect the Digitech Whammy via MIDI without having an audio interface with MIDI? Thanks in advance." And for me, this was a burning question. I'm aware that there's many interfaces with MIDI inputs and outputs, and you can spend hundreds or thousands of dollars upgrading your setup, but I'm a poor guy living in Mexico. Like, how the heck do you do this? I was barely able to afford the Digitech Whammy downtune years ago, and it's one of my favorite pieces of gear, but I never knew how to set up MIDI inputs with it, at least not in a simple manner. Now I'm going to link to the product I bought down below. It's just a simple USB to MIDI cable, and it has a USB port that you plug into your computer or your laptop. And on the other end, you have two cables. You have a MIDI input cable and a MIDI output cable. For this purpose, we're just going to be using the MIDI output cable. The MIDI input cable just kind of dangles there, doesn't do anything. Now I will mention this is going to be a Reaper tutorial. I imagine the same concepts apply regardless of what DAW you're using, but maybe not. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to see a tutorial for a different DAW. I've been meaning to try other DAWs, but Reaper's just so nice. For 60 bucks, it does everything you need it to, and you don't really need anything else, especially if you're a bedroom artist. So without further ado, guys, let's get started. Step 1. Plug in the USB cable end to a free USB slot on your computer or laptop. Step 2, and I'm not sure if I'm an idiot, I just plugged it in this way and it worked. I plugged the MIDI out cable end into the Digitech Whammy on the right side. Step 3, make sure the power cable is unplugged from your Digitech, very important. While it's unplugged, press and hold down the Whammy button on the bottom left. While you're pressing and holding, plug in your power cable, and I'm using my phone in my other hand, that's why it looks like this, but press and hold. After a few seconds, you're going to see multiple lights start to blink, okay? Once you see only one light blinking, go ahead and dial that knob to the Omni setting. Now I'm going to put up a chart right here so you can see. And again, this is above my pay grade. This is just what worked for me. I think Omni just means it works for all channels, but you can route this to different channels if you actually know what you're doing, okay? And after you do that, all you're going to do is press the Whammy button once. And I saw this in another YouTube tutorial. You're just going to press down your Whammy pedal. And supposedly that gets the other side to work too. Again, I don't know if that's true or false. Leave a comment down below. I'd love to know. Step 4. I'm going to try to make these next few steps as simple as humanly possible. Again, I'm still in the process of learning here, but I'm going to show you the exact steps that work for me. And hopefully they work for you, okay? So the first thing you're going to want to do, set up a Reaper project, and as you see here, I just have a guitar track, and I'm also going to set up another track in a minute, but firstly, go to Control P. After your cables are plugged in, after the first two steps, you're going to want to go to Control P, go to MIDI devices, and then for the MIDI inputs, go to Configure Device, and you're going to want to check mark Enable Input from Device. Now again, I'm an idiot, I just like to play it safe. I also go to the MIDI output section, also configure that, and also enable output to device. Don't know if it makes a difference. Again, leave a comment down below. Let me know what the simpler way is, but that is step 4. Alrighty, step 5. Getting real close now. So basically, what you're going to do, you see I have my guitar track set up here. You can just do Control T, or you can just double click and just set up another track. I like to label this MIDI. I also like to color code my tracks. You don't have to do that, but You know, it just keeps things nice and neat. If you ever look at professional mixers, I mean, they generally do this. It's, you know, if you like colors, colors keep everything in sync, okay? Alrighty. After you make that track, go to Route, and all you're gonna do, you see where it says MIDI hardware output, just go ahead and select that hardware output, your USB MIDI cable that you just set up in preferences, and exit out, and that's it. Alrighty guys, get into the fun part now. Sweet, now we're on step 6. Now's the fun part. And I promise you guys, if you guys have ever done any MIDI inputs or anything like that, this will be pretty intuitive for you. But here's what you do. You have your MIDI track set up. You're going to go to Insert at the top, go to New MIDI Item, and it's going to create you a MIDI block. Double click that MIDI block. Once you've done that, okay, very important, you have to go to the bottom left and select Bank/Program Select. That's the only way it's going to work, okay? Now, when you have your MIDI slot open, there's a spot below, look, there's piano keys, and you're going to want to double click that. And all you're going to have to do in here is go to the program numbers. Now, the problem with the Digitech Whammy manual is all their numbers are one number off. I've actually updated a document, or it's really just a picture, and you all can download that in the description. I hope it helps you out a lot. But yeah, don't go by the Digitech manual. It's wrong, okay? All you're going to do, and just think very intuitively, imagine at a certain section, you want to have like a 2-octave whammy upwards, okay? All you're going to do is you're going to want to look at the active section, and you're going to want to look at select 0, because 0 is going to be the active. Now, this is the thing I want to stress to you all. You need to think about everything in terms of active versus bypass. In fact, here's what I suggest for you. Imagine you have a track and the only things that are going to be automated is like a 2-octave shift up whammy pedal and maybe a 1-octave shift down at certain points in the song. At the beginning of your track, set up 2 of these little tracks and bypass them, okay? I'll explain why in a second. But you're going to want to bypass everything. So basically, when the song starts, okay, everything's going to be bypassed, and it's like you have no effects added. Then just think very intuitively from there. You're just going to program these little lines there relative to the program number, and that's it, guys. That should work for you. Now, I'm going to go over some troubleshooting things now. All right, guys, so just going off that last thing I mentioned, this is why it's so important that, well, I'm just recommending it to you, but I'll show you why it's so important to bypass. It's as important as active. So I just created like a 2-second guitar riff. It's nothing crazy. So the first thing I have there, that first line, it's just a bypass. It bypasses the 2-octave shift up. And let me show you why that's so important. Once you get to the point in your track where it activates, and it activates that 2-octave shift up, and I'll show you on my Digitech Whammy what's happening, it's going to stay locked in that position until it hits a bypass line again, okay? So point being, if you want to set up a nice, easy song, start everything off bypass. So essentially, it's like your Digitech is shut off, okay? And point being, once everything hits, you know, for example, if you want to have that 2-second octave upshift, you're going to want to place another line right after it that's bypassing it so it goes back down to regular tuning, okay? That's going to be my first tip. Actually, I think that's my only tip I have, is bypass at the start of your song. But yeah, definitely bypass throughout your song so it's shutting back off. Very important. You might notice when you first start this, it's like, oh my God, everything's stuck in 2+ octave. And like you try to restart the song, it's still stuck in 2-octave plus. Bypass, that's your problem. Now, 2 little troubleshooting things I'll mention. One, if you do every single step here and it's not working, try just restarting your DAW. Try just doing a restart of your DAW. Another thing you could try is just try resetting your MIDI setup that we did in step 3. But otherwise, guys, I really hope this video helped you. I hope to make more videos in the future. Thall, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Wait, did I just steal that line from MKBHD? Unoriginal.